Chad Christensen is going to go first, and I'll just read Chad's bio. He's the managing editor of the Wayne State College Press and the co-director of the Plains Writers Series. He earned his MFA from the University of Nebraska, Omaha, and teaches writing and publishing at Wayne State College. His books of lo-fi poetry, which are available on Amazon, right? Are Groundbound, a novel in verse, and Shoot from the Hip. He also writes a column from the Wayne Stater called High on the Plains. I went and read at Wayne State College, last month? Yeah. And I did not know Chad at all, and when he was introducing me, he made a kind of joke that we've known each other for years, which was false. But after hanging out with Chad, I do feel like I've known him in a good way for years. But I don't know his work that well, so I'm really excited to hear it, especially the new stuff. So Chad Christensen.
Thank you. So the check is in the mail after this, right?
Yes.
Paid.
Yes.
Good.
So big as
That's right. One of those big checks. I like that. Yeah, I need it. Right. I got just some poems here. I wasn't quite sure what the hell I was going to do. Some of my other stuff had been longer in the past, so these are really stupid short. And so hopefully you guys are strong and you can take it. I think you can. Hopefully, pray that you can. I'll try not to mumble. Just yell at me if I mumble. And again, thank you guys. All right. Okay, we're going to get serious here. All right. See if I can screw that up. All right. Thoughts on Van Gogh's final painting. I stick my feet into the bathtub and place my beer on the windowsill. I think this tub is a small coffin. The water is leaking through the stopper, and although I struggle with the tiny lever to close it, I cannot. Through the window, I see the western sky is darkening, and I'm reminded of Van Gogh's final painting, the one with the blackbirds shitting themselves as they fly straight into death. I reach for my drink, then notice all the dead bugs lying upside down, pretending to sleep. Dear God, I think, then plunge my balls straight down to the hot water. It's for you, Brian Finn. That's a love poem. It's going to be frightening, but that's probably my longest poem. Just hanging there. So I'm going to read these kind of fast and clap if you want. It's all right. I had this fear, and I said this at the UNO reading, that after I wrote all these, and I'm like, okay, yeah, sure, all right, we'll put these together. And then I'm like, they're Jack Handey poems. I'm writing fucking Jack Handey poems. Yeah, that's now like horrible. Because my longer stuff was a sort of, I wanted to write a novel, I was Kerouac, I just wanted to write the novel, but then I couldn't, and so it ended up being sort of these just sort of poems at all, and I just gave them chapters. But I was trying to start shorter stuff for whatever reason. And some doesn't even have a title. I questioned whether the chandelier would shake when we were fucking. It was above us now in the kitchen, but later it would be below us. I tell her, let's move to Bolivia. It's called Jake. Down at the end of the bar, Jake waves, but he does it reluctantly, and then smiles, because what he's really doing is waving at me, because no one here will. And he knows that. I send him back a fuck you wave, making sure that he knows that I know this little drunken exchange of hand gestures is now complete. El Dorado Blues. At the gas station, I look at her behind the bulletproof glass as she rings up my Budweiser Tallboy. She resembles a burned-out version of Jane Fonda. She tries to smile. My card has been declined. We both look at the card. Neither of us are sure what we're doing anymore. Childhood. Tom has a pet crow had a pet crow as a kid that followed him around town. His wings were clipped, but he could jump from tree to tree. When Tom played baseball, the crow would come to right field and cheer. Tom is now 47, working on an oil rig off the coast of Galveston. He misses that crow. Genetics. My grandma loves this poem. It's happy hour and the bar is loud. There's a drunk who looks like my great uncle. It is my great uncle. He's staring at the bartender who doesn't look older than 17. I'm staring at her too. You're too kind. It's called Patterns. Walking into Hancock Fabrics, I pretend to be a housewife, drunk on expensive Chardonnay, spending my husband's money recklessly. I then pretend I'm a little old woman who's poor yet pretty good at sewing. I make quilts for my grandchildren. At the back of the store, I pick up a wood carving of a frog fishing next to a sign that reads, "No worries." I look at it, then put it down. There are 10 other frogs exactly like it on the shelf. In the car, I refuse to look out the window. Friends, you know you're sad and lonely when your best friends are a washer and dryer who you only see once a week. Thank you. You're doing good. Doing good. For Brian, I wrote this for my brother. It's another 500-page long novel. Red-headed woodpeckers. Jimmy is obsessed with red-headed woodpeckers. Look, he says, there's one now. It's horrible to talk, you know. But telepathic brotherhood. My neighbor cannot decide whether to shut his front door or not. In my mind, I have shut it for him. I'm living out, in the Ponca Hills out there, and it's been, I had a house in Wayne for 10 years, but now, wife and I and kids and everything, I'm learning to do these very down-home things, like mow the lawn on a regular basis, not the city telling me to mow the lawn. I'm learning a lot. All our neighbors are retired, I think we're the only people, besides, they all have grandkids that come over and, stuff, but so it's been interesting. So here's another one. Things. Outside, my neighbor is picking up sticks in her front yard. She's going to mow for the 3rd time this week. It's 11 a.m., and I'm masturbating for the 4th time today. Strange how things can get out of control. God. I wasn't very organized. This one didn't even print out right. Oh, where are you? Welcome. Afterlife. Someday, I'm going to end up just like this pizza in the oven, dead and on fire. It was a really big moment, it really was. I sat there, I looked at it for a while, and I'm like, this is deep, this is real. My grandfather, Houdini, the final days of Houdini. My grandfather is drinking whiskey as he stares at a birch tree near the backside of our house. He looks lost. I tell him, "It's dinner time. Grandma's looking for you." He grins and holds up his whiskey. "Let me dissolve this first." He tilts his head back and raises the glass. I watch as we both disappear. There is such an awkwardness in you. There is such an awkwardness in you, and it flies around the room like a lost fruit bat. People try to hit it with whatever they can grab. This is another short one, which I'll read it. I wrote this poem with different, you ever have this where you write a poem and it had a different meaning, of course, but I found out that people would probably going to see it differently. That's a lot of words for a deep poem that's only 2 lines long. People cry in cars. The guy who holds the sign during road construction knows this. See, and I wrote this, when you think about it, people hate road construction, and you get caught at the sign, it makes you want to cry. But it really wasn't. I was thinking about, where do people cry? They cry in the bathroom, they cry in their car, right? And if you're definitely in the middle of some sort of emotional moment, God forbid, I'm a man, I can cry. I'm a poet, I can cry. But you don't expect this road construction coming up. You're flying towards your destination. It's a safe place to cry, and then suddenly you get stopped by a road construction, and it's an awkward moment with the guy holding the sign, and it's like, oh my God, this guy's crying in his car. Places. Do you remember the last good kiss you had? In Sudan, a little boy misses his arm. In Tucson, a man has lost his keys. Uncanny resemblance. My 2-year-old son is wearing a beer box on his head as a helmet, and he's running into chairs and walls, chasing after the dog. He thinks this is good fun. Snorting coke for the first time at Old Dundee Bar and Grill. Sitting on top of the toilet stall, I reach into my coat pocket and take it out. It's wrapped like a beautiful present on Christmas morning. I unfold it as if it were a delicate origami. Thing about these short poems, man, you run through them quick here. We're doing on time. A few more? Well, I'm almost done. I'm all Watson and no Sherlock. Today, I daydreamed about finding a dead body up in a walnut tree. Its limbs dangling like ripe fruit about to fall. How it got there or where it came from, I have no idea. Sorry, that was kind of a nerdy poem. Just got a few more and I'll be done. You guys have been wonderful. He's tall and skinny and about to explode. I hear him say, "That's enough self-abuse for one night." His mustache was doing all the talking. What life is all about. Jimmy and Doc decide to Indian wrestle on the hardwood floor. Right now, people are waiting in line to wash their cars. Him. When he laughs, he sounds just like John Huston. Comes from my wife. Naked in bed. By listening to the cars on the road outside her window, she knew it was raining. Can you hear the music? I tell Doc, I'm sure glad we stopped early last night. He wipes his nose, then notices there's blood on the napkin. Yeah, he says, we're real known for our self-control. So I got a lot of these, like, I was coming into cocaine western poems, and they just sort of slipped in all of them. And they're all incomplete and all over the place. Black Friday. God is dying somewhere, and I'm in a mall parking lot. She's buying things, I'm drinking. Jimmy misses the old man while drunk on scotch. You only get a handful of friends, he says, this many. He holds his hands up with all 5 fingers stretched out. Now I'm down to this many. He folds down a couple of fingers, but you can tell he's not quite sure how many are left. I miss him, he says. I need you to know that. Teeth. Listen here, Doc says. You can always tell the true state of a man by his teeth. He opens his mouth and points. See, he says, near death. Map. There's a place north of town that will only reveal itself after you've drunk 6 beers. And even then, you might not find it. It's a true story. I'll find a poem here, I swear to God I'll stop. Sorry, I'm looking for that one beautiful poem that will maybe save me from the bottom, but it might not be there. Clarity. Halfway back on the bed, sipping a whiskey. Today, everything is clear. Somewhere, a silver rocket flies, killing 8. Somewhere, 2 people are fucking on a 78 Oldsmobile. I want to say it's a true story, but... Guidance. My father taught me words like fuck and cocksucker. He was trying to prepare me for the future. All right, I think that's all I got. Thank you, guys.